I'm Eric with SmartPod Fabric Planners, and we're back with another episode of the Growing Revolution Smart Podcast. And today we've got Clayton Smith with Monterey Lawn and Garden. He's a longtime veteran of the ag industry with Monterey and then with Bayer before that. We wanted to get him on the podcast to discuss how he got into the industry, where he sees things going. And on that note, Clayton, welcome to the podcast.
Well, good morning, good afternoon. It's been a long day already, and thank you for having me.
Hey, we got people, that'll be watching this at all times of the day. It's pre-recorded, so there's no wrong answer as far as that goes. So, where did you get your educational background in plant science? Did you go to school for that?
I did. I started off at junior college. But it really started back in high school is where it started from. I wanted to get in forestry during the 70s, and it was big at the time. And when I was in ninth grade, I couldn't get into it, and I was lost. And this teacher comes over to me, and goes, "Why don't you try horticulture?" And the only thing I knew about horticulture was from junior high, and that was pulling weeds and planting radishes. And I said, "Are you joking?" He said, "No, give it a try." So I had nothing else to do. And Norm Isabel was the teacher, and he's such a great person, still good friends today. And so I signed up because what else did I have? And I loved it. And today I am best friends with the kids from it through FFA and other things. We still get together. We talk all the time, and they are friends for a lifetime.
Nice.
And then after that, I went to, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, where did you grow up? Where did you go to high school at?
I grew up in the north part of San Fernando Valley, believe it or not, in California, which you would never thought in part of LA. And that's where 1971 earthquake. I walked outside and saw the hospitals fall down. I lived in the same street.
Wow.
I was 11 years old. And, we didn't go to school for about 6 to 8 weeks, but I remember watching the elevator shafts fall down off the hospital that morning.
That must have been a little traumatic.
It was, but to this day, I was 11 years old and still remember watching them.
Yeah.
So, growing up in LA, getting into ag, people thought differently, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah. And then where did you go to college?
So I went to Pierce College for about 3 years. That's a junior college because my dad wanted me to get into engineering, and he would, help me with college. And I said, "No, I'm going to get into ag." And he said, "There's the front door," and I left. And so I lived in hotels, apartments, and I actually lived in a trailer storage yard for a couple of years. But I went to Pierce, then I got accepted into Cal Poly Pomona and went there for another 3 years to finish up my degree in plant science.
Nice. And then did you get into the ag world directly out of school?
I did. I did my internship at Disney World out in Florida, came back, started working directly for a distributor, L&L, and then just developed after that to where I'm at today.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know that you worked for L&L previously.
I did. Worked for them for 13 years, 9 years as a field rep, and 4 years as key accounts in Northern California. Nice. And that's how I ended up here.
Nice. Yeah, L&L, one of our distributors, great company, great people.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So I was looking on your LinkedIn profile, and I saw that you had worked for the Bayer Corporation before Monterey. What were you doing for them, and what was that like?
I was working for Bayer for 7 years. So I handled all the accounts in Northern and Central California, including Hawaii. So I was, calling on them, selling to them, being a representative for Bayer, going to meetings across the United States. And if it wasn't for Bayer, I wouldn't have my job with Monterey today. I learned a lot from them, but they were huge. They were a great company. Bayer actually created a lot of the actives that we use now today from the crop science side. So, you can thank them for that. Unbelievable company. But they were so large, you were just a number in the larger book. And I was sitting in Hawaii meeting Bart Brown, who's the president of Monterey. Him and I have been great friends for many, many years. And we were having a beer, sitting down at a bar. We were at a big meeting in Hawaii. He comes up to me and goes, "Let me talk to you." And now I'm at Monterey. It was the best choice ever, and just a great family-owned company. And they listen to you. You are part of them once you come working for them.
Yeah, I've met Bart a number of times, and I could imagine once he makes his pitch and gets his claws into you, it was hard to resist. Super nice guy, super nice guy.
Unbelievable.
I bet working for Monterey is awesome.
Just to my 10 years.
Yep. So, kind of stepping back into Bayer, they're known as one of the biggest, producers of GMO seeds in the world. What's your take on GMO seeds? And is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it neutral? What are your thoughts?
I'm going to leave that a lot up to the people. My feelings is personally, it's a good thing. As we move forward, diseases are going to be modified. They're going to adapt to the environment. They're going to adapt to actives and chemicals being used. So we're going to have to adapt to them. So with that being said, genetic modified organisms, we're going to have to make changes to the environment, even as the environment change. So to me, I have no issues with GMOs. And in fact, if my personal feelings, this is mine, if you look at, for thousands of years, we've been doing GMOs. Every time we crossbreed, we do a GMO. If you're mixing this plant with that plant, you're genetically modifying a new plant. But that's just my own personal feeling. But today is more involved. We're taking genes from specific genomes and picking out the best elements, picking out the best parts of that plant, either to match the environment or to match the disease resistance of the environment or even soil content. So for me personally, I think it's a step forward. Some people may not agree with it, but I think we need to do this.
Yeah. I'm on the side of, I guess I'm not really sure. I'm not going to say that I've never consumed any, genetically modified products. But I don't know. I guess I'm a skeptical person at heart. And I don't know. The one that gets me the most is like GMO apples with the CRISPR technology where they don't brown, even after they've been sliced and sitting out for months. I don't know. I can't see how that's a good thing that apples don't brown, but I guess, that's a little bit beyond my pay grade, so.
But if they're not browning, then they're going to last longer on the shelf, so you're not throwing them away either.
Yes.
At the store level.
Yes.
So you're not wasting the food at that point. And you're not changing the taste, you're not changing how the plant is going to grow, and you're not changing how they're being pollinated. So again, you're not wasting the food either.
Yeah. At the end of the day, everything comes down to dollars and cents, and that's why GMO is out there, is because it maximizes efficiencies and increases, I guess, profits and all that. So I guess we'll just leave that subject there. Because we could talk about GMO all day.
I've had some good discussions on it.
Yeah. So getting into your current company, Monterey, they've got a wide range of products. But I guess when I think of Monterey, I think of pest and disease control primarily. Can you talk about some of the pest and disease control substances that make up like the ingredients in your products and why growers should be using them?
Yeah, and more to the point, we want to think of Monterey as plant health and making the plant healthier for you, and even the environmental health, because our main thing is to make sure the plant's pollinated, to make sure with the new organics come out, these are not the organics of yesterday or of your grandfathers even. So with that being said, we're not like the Bayers or the Monsantos. We look at niche items that we can bring to the market because we our main focus with our accounts are the nurseries, the farm stores, the hardware stores. That's who we focus on because those are our customers, the homeowners there.
Yep.
So we have a lot of organics in our setups. We have three main colors of bottles with us. We have our orange for our inorganics. We have our green for our organic bottles, and then we have a new blue bottle for our liquid fertilizers. So it's really easy to tell when you walk in and look at our products which one's which.
Nice.
And with that being said, we can do niche items that a lot of manufacturers can't do because we are a little bit smaller and we don't have to look so much at profit, but we look at what is best for the customer.
Yeah. What's like maybe your top two products? What are the most popular?
Sluggo, of course, it comes out. This was our mainstay, right here. When we came out with this helped start our company. Iron phosphate, it's pet safe, and without this, our company wouldn't be here today.
I think every garden store has Sluggo.
Right. And a lot of people imitate us, but we still have the name, and that's why we're here today.
It's a solid name.
Of course, right. And then of course we have Sluggo Plus, which we add spinosad to, that will help get the creepy crawlers. So Sluggo will get just the snails and slugs by adding the spinosad, because there's a lot of other things like sow bugs and mealybugs and earwigs that will get the root hairs as well. So we add spinosad to get those, and so it's just a little step up with the line. And then things like Takedown, which is our canola oil pyrethrin, so quick knockdown, again organic, and then and smothers the insects at the same time. And then we brought out the first ones with complete disease control, just a live bacteria that will help fight off funguses. So now we're using live organisms, live bacteria to fight off bacteria at the same time. And we were the first ones with this on the market, and it's just exploded on us.
Nice. Yeah, I think, consumers in general want to have something as safe as possible, but they want something that gets the job done. So it kind of sounds like that's where you guys are targeting.
Yeah, and we can bring out these niche items because we don't have to depend on the box stores to drive our business.
Okay, so would you say most of your sales then come from the IGC independent garden stores versus the big box stores?
Yeah, yes, I would have to agree with that. Yep. We got a small team. We have eight people across the country that do one hell of a job for us. We have our team down in Fresno, but what's nice is we have Brent, our parent company, which is huge in the ag side. Not a lot of people know about Brent, but anybody in agriculture knows about Brent, and it's family owned, and that's the way we are all treated as family.
Yeah. I think people would be amazed, by how big of a company, Monterey and some of the other lawn and garden companies are, sales-wise and presence-wise, but they would be surprised by, like, how small these companies actually run, and Smart Pot's high caliper growing is really similar to that.
Yeah, and we follow pretty much your model a lot of times.
Now, what are some of the common mistakes that you hear about end users making with Monterey products, or, it could be just, general to gardening products in general?
I think the main thing is more is better. So, they think when it says, for instance, on our complete disease, 1 teaspoon per gallon, they think 5 teaspoons is better. And that's
Right.
not the case. My job is kind of involved a little bit uh, with the passing of our Tommy that started our company. And I answer questions across the United States now as part of my job. And I keep this, where is it? This is my big book of labels, and I keep this with me at all times. So they read it and they said, well, 2 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon is what the label says. That's what it takes. There's been a lot of work figuring out how much does it take? That's what it takes. Don't go overboard. Don't add more into the environment than what is necessary. And I think that's the biggest thing there is. There's a reason why those labels are there. They're not the easiest things to read, trust me. But we have to go through state, we have to go through federal, even before any products come on the shelf. And sometimes it can take years before it takes a new product on the shelf. Most of the time, it takes at least a year to bring a new product on the shelf.
Yep. Yeah, people don't realize like every state has their own Department of Agriculture of some sort, and they don't always follow the same guidelines. Some states are much more strict than others, and they might even be like next door to each other, like Nevada and California. So,
well, we always start with California. So if we can get through California, we have a good chance to get through the rest of the states. And even then, there's a couple products that we sell in California that may not sell in Nevada, yet we can sell blowtorches in Nevada. It just depends on the niche.
Yep. So you get questions, from the general public as well as dealers. What are some of the more outrageous things that you've heard people ask or inquire about?
I've been working with this guy from upstate New York for the last 2 weeks. And I feel for him. I really do. He's in his 80s, and I've probably been on the phone with him 4 or 5 times the last 2 weeks. And bless his heart, he has 2 geraniums that have been in the same pot for 3 years. And they are getting old, and I cannot convince him that he needs to transplant them. And they're dying from root rot, and I keep saying, Bob, you got to move them. You're overwatering them. They're not doing well. Take cuttings now or air layer them, but you got to move them. And he has names for them, and I really do feel for him. And I was texting him this morning. Please move them to larger pots. Please take cuttings on if you want to save them. They're your babies, I know, but can you listen to me? And
I don't know why he would be so hesitant about upshifting to a larger container. Next time you talk to him, get his contact info. We'll send him a smart pot or 2.
I got his address. And then the other thing, like I said, more people think more is better, and I have to keep telling them, please follow the label. That's why it says 1 ounce per gallon or 1.5 ounces. But again, the labels can be a little bit difficult, and I have labels broken down to 2 things: an open label and closed label. So a closed label is within these blocks of wording. You have to stay within those blocks. If it says these plants will be killed by this herbicide, you have to stay there. You cannot deviate. Or these insects will be killed, or this is how much you use. Then there are open labels. For instance, we have a product called Bugbuster O, which will list probably 100 insects in there. Then at the bottom will say "and more." So that's an open label. So it's just reading the labels and understanding them. And it takes time. And that's what I do, is interpret them.
Is that dependent on the ingredients that are in there? What you can basically say on the label then?
Well, 2 things. 1, the ingredient, and 2, what the state and federal allow us to say.
Makes sense.
And what they've been tested on too.
Right.
So there's a lot of things that go into what's on the label.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get even one exaggerated claim, like you might have to recall all of your products from a given state. So it's better to be safe than sorry when it comes to labeling.
Yeah, and I have to follow the label with my
Right.
I have an ag license, so I have to make sure I follow the label.
Right.
Because I can't deviate at all. And people said, "Well, can't you give me a different dosage?" I said, "No, this is what I have to do. Otherwise, I'm in trouble."
Right. Yeah. Um, Now, you're the chairman of the Plant California Alliance. Can you please talk about that and what that organization is all about?
Yeah. So the Plant California Alliance has been around for a long time. It's now. It used to be the California Association of Nurserymen, and they were different chapters throughout the state, and they were around for a long, long time. And a number of years ago, it kind of consolidated into one unit, and it was the California Association of Nurserymen via the state, and all the chapters became uh, into the Sacramento office. And then recently, we changed the name about 4 years ago to the Plant California Alliance to bring in new members, growers, and other people into our association. So we're pretty, I think, around 350 members strong right now, and that includes growers, nurseries, and other affiliates, educations. We do a lot with colleges, UC Davis, Modesto, the Cal Polys are all big affiliates of ours. We work with the schools, with the School of Agricultures. I'm involved with them. We give we have different committees within our group, and one committee alone works on scholarships. The other one works on research, and we give about $175,000 a year to both of them, kind of broken up between the two of them, to help kids get into college. They have to write a paper, of course, and research. The research, even though it may not apply to all of ours, they have to apply to part of ours. So, for instance, drought tolerant plants. We're doing a lot with irrigation, home irrigation right now, and it has to go through the committee before it's even presented to the board. And being chairman, I'm part of all that.
Nice. Well, I'd say just for, getting the scholarships in the hands of, the kids that need them, it sounds like a cool organization to be a part of.
Yeah, and the other thing that we disseminate, is state laws and federal laws. So we actually have lawyers too that lobby for us. And of course nowadays it's been very tough, but they let us know what's coming down the pike and what we should be fighting, where we should write letters to too, and that's helped a lot.
Nice. Yeah, it's always good to be proactive in terms of regulations that hopefully it doesn't, completely crush you. You're not caught totally off guard.
Yeah.
So you've been in the lawn and garden ag industry, basically your whole career. What's your favorite part about this industry that we're in?
I make this very clear. Are you going to become a millionaire? Most people know, but the answer is no. Are you going to make a good living? So I give a lot of talks to high school kids, and that's one of my favorite things to do, because they're going to become our future employees, and sometimes our employers at the same time. But you're going to make a good living, and that's one of my favorite parts to do. And when you look at the future of our industry, meeting the people, they are, to me, being as long as I've been into it, the best thing about our industry. Diversity, the strength of our people. Each one's different, but we all work for the same goal, whether it's our family, whether it's the industry, or whether the love of plants. and to me, that's more than anything else.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'd have to say out of every 100 people I meet in the industry, there's maybe like one person that you would rather not speak to again, but that 99% just like makes my day awesome. And I used to sell like advertising, and that was so intangible. And being in the lawn and garden ag industry, you're selling products that people are using to make their lives better. And at the end of the day, I just feel so good about this industry. We're really doing God's work,
Right.
in a sense.
I live up in the mountains, and I'm blessed that my backyard is national forest, and seeing the trees grow. And to me, that's life within itself. And that's the way I've taught my boy. I have four boys. Um, and that's the way I've taught them, is to be grateful for what you have and look outside and see what you can enjoy.
Nice, nice. Now I've heard that one of your passions is the Dulcimer,
Why?
and I'd be willing to bet a lot of people don't even know what a Dulcimer is. So, could you explain what a Dulcimer is, and maybe give us a little,
I'm going to hurt Jeff. I'm assuming you got that from Jeff.
Well, either Jeff or one of your other Monterey coworkers. It might have been Bard. I don't know. You're famous for your Dulcimer.
Okay, so I spent a lot of time in the South doing research. One of my passions in college was field botany, and I worked with one of the best field botanists. So I traveled all over the country, and I did a lot of field research in the South and in the Appalachian Mountains, and I heard this music, and I just loved it. And I asked them what it was. Now, let me get it. Yeah, there we go. So it's one of only two true instruments made in America that is original from America. The other one being the banjo. And I've been playing for about 30 years, and I tell people I can teach anyone and how to play this, but it takes years to master it. Sure. So, and I have a whole music alcove in my house. I got hammered dulcimer, a lot different, a piano, and a couple guitars. But this is my favorite instrument right here, and it's electric.
It's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah, it's electric, so I can do a pickup on it.
Crank it up.
Yeah, so it's fun. I'll just sit down any evening time in the backyard with the trees that are 300-400 feet tall, and just play it. And my wife will come out, and I say, "I'm sorry for interrupting you," and she goes, "No, just keep playing." And
well, can you play us a little something?
Yeah, let me get the other chair because I can't do it in my chair here.
Okay.
Give me a second. You either pick it, or strum it. So I'm just trying to strum this. You have to use sticky thingies on your legs, otherwise it slides off, and that's not good.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let's see if I can do it. Can you hear it?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Anyway, something like that.
Hey, I kind of felt like that was the beginnings of like a Led Zeppelin song.
There you go. Or you can play Appalachian.
Hey, that's pretty cool. I honestly can't say that I've ever heard the Dulcimer it being live, but check that off the
There you
bucket
go. Yeah,
list.
I play sometimes at church and stuff.
Nice. No, that's a really cool sounding instrument. Thanks for sharing that with us. That was
No,
pretty
no
cool.
problem. My pleasure.
Nice. Well, Clayton, that was pretty much all the questions that we had over here. So, just wanted to thank you for joining us on the podcast and giving us, some insight into what's going on at Monterey and then you personally. So, thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate
No,
having you.
thank you very much for having me. And if there's any questions that come across, I'm here to help. That's all. That's what I'm here for.
Nice, nice. Did you want to leave an email for anybody?
Yeah, you can get me at Clayton.Smith at Brant, BRANDT, Monterey, all one big word. I try and fit it in these small spaces. Doesn't work. .co, not .com.
Nice, nice. Well, again, thanks, Clayton. Really good talking with you, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you at one of the upcoming shows here
We
this
got
year.
a couple shows coming up real quickly.
I'll see you sooner than
Okay,
later.
well, thanks for having me.
Have a great
This has
day.
been fun. Appreciate it.